Welcome back to another episode of Long War the Chosen Mod Jam Plus Edition. If we take a look at our geoscape right now, we can see that we do have 2 missions queued up and no Haven advisors. So let's fix that. Now for Haven advisors, one of the things I consider is certainly will, as you do not gain will back while sitting in a Haven, but someone like the Arsonist having really high will right here is perfectly acceptable to keep them in there. The bigger issue, though, is the Arsonist does destroy corpses, and since you're going to be using these Haven Advisors to look for rendezvous, them being on a rendezvous limits their ability to actually get kills and kill experience because you want to maintain that loot. But I think we're going to throw the Templar in here for the moment, at least until we get another mission ready to go. And then let's throw the Dragoon. And let's make sure that they have some equipment as well, keeping the plating on them, maybe a med kit, and an AP grenade. If we take a quick look over at our research, we do have basic research coming out in 4 days. And then we're going to need to get hybrid materials. Hybrid materials is going to be important to get nanoscale vests to help keep our HP above 4, especially when going up against things like Pathfinders, which can one-shot enemies, or XCOM really at 3 HP. As they can crit for more than 5. So you got to be a little careful of that. Now we are at March 31st, meaning we are about to go to Force Level 3, which is going to bring Pathfinders into the equation. And taking a look at some of these squads, there is some worry with like Silent Bop, Emily. And if we look at the Blackguards over here, everyone here looks very, very healthy at least. And we do have a few more rookies that we'll hopefully be able to get some promotions on. We are still looking, well, what do we have? We have Hack a Workstation, we have Counter a Dark Event, so we're still looking for Liberation 1 in this region, but I don't think we're at the point where I can really justify boosting for it. I am also hoping that we do find some missions in Eastern US and can hopefully get a few teams going. Well, a supply raid with a 5-day timer. We are going to boost that. Especially because this is also in our starting region. Since this is in our starting region, this is where we want to get vigilance as high as possible, as we're not looking to necessarily liberate this region, at least early on. Now, a 5-day timer, while not being the greatest thing in the world, we could do 4 versus 10 to 12, which is an interesting thing to do. Force level 3 opens up the opportunity to Lancer corpses, which is something I'd be very, very keen on getting. Templar Specialist, Arsonist Agent. We don't have any sharpshooters here. I think we want to bring the Combat Engineer. The Combat Engineer we want to get value out of with their smoke grenades and combat drugs once they get a few promotions. If we take a look at their tree, this perk right here is very strong. Giving your units 20 aim is nothing to scoff at. We are going to be able to get a 6th on this mission if we are planning on boosting it, and I think that is the right call. Before I jump into that though, let me double check. So the Hack the Workstation is going to give us 22 intel. The Recover the Item is going to give us 28 intel. Yes. We are going to boost this. We're going to have enough intel to hopefully get our 3rd region unlocked in a timely manner sometime after April 15th. I do think it's going to also be important to bring our recon, if only for the information and to get them leveled up. We have to consider how we kill things as well, though, right now. With Pathfinders having 5 HP, 2 armor for the basic ones, and the Hunter Pathfinder having 7 HP, 2 armor, we need to be able to get through that. Shotguns are a very, very reliable way of killing Pathfinders, as they do, if we take a look, 5 to 7 damage with 2 crit damage, with lower crit chance than a basic shotgun, but they do have 1 armor piercing. So that can certainly be a good way. I don't think the smoke grenade's actually going to provide us a lot of value here, more so than the frag grenade is, but we will keep a flashbang. We are going to want some AP grenades, as not every enemy we're going to be going up against is going to be armored. The recon here is a little questionable. The specialist without AP rounds is also questionable. The flamethrower can be used for control. To have a scope, a bayonet, and experimental magazine. I do think we just give the combat engineer the bayonet in case we need to get them moving around. And I think the specialist is going to get the scope. And it could get this experimental magazine so that we at least get 1 AP round. Just to hopefully punch through some drones and maybe a little bit additional armored opponents. We will get 10 to 12, so hopefully we can pull out a Lancer Corps, but there's no guarantee there. And our Templar with Stun Strike can certainly help out as well. Let's do it. I did get some advice from the wonderful Darava on how to get early supply raids. His advice was, get good timers. While not a great timer, I'll take it. I will happily accept something like that. Now, by doing this, we are going to be giving up our Liberation 1 in this area. But I think that's okay. I do want to get an idea of what these timers are going to look like, so we're going to keep scanning down here. And we find flight paths in 4 hours. That is very unfortunate. That is going to put us up to strength 4 here immediately, potentially even increasing strength in eastern US. How UFOs work is when they land, they typically raise the region they're landing in by 1 and a connecting region by 1. Sometimes though, it'll just be the region it lands in by 2. Taking a look over here, this actually is strange. New Mexico is not connected to New Brazil. I don't know if I noticed that previously. And so New Mexico is actually kind of locked between Western US and Eastern US. If we're able to get over to Western US somehow, we could lock in New Mexico quite cleanly. It would have been nice if we had a connection to Western US from Eastern US, but that is not the case. We do not need to worry about retaliation just yet, not until Force Level 3. Earliest I've ever seen it is April 11th, which would be scary. As an extract that I do not have the people for. With strength going up in these regions. Oh, hold on. Strength just dropped to 2, so strength just left to New Chile or West Africa. Interesting. I was going to say with strength going up to 4 here because of the flight pass, these missions are going to get a lot harder. But it looks like we are okay. Liberation 1 with a 6-day timer in our starting region. We are at Force Level 3. If I even consider running this, what would we have? We would have a Dragoon, 2 Shivs, and 3 Rookies. Now, I don't have a Sharpshooter or Survivalist yet. I do want to hang on to Kelset, I think, for the GTS, so I would have a Dragoon, 2 Shivs, and 2 Rookies for Liberation 1. Since this is going to be a 5-man timer anyways, we're going to be a little greedy. Shivs do have value in the early game here because they do shred armor. Oh, and we do have an intel package to go grab after this as well. So we'll bring the Dragoon. We'll bring both the Shivs. They can also be sacrificed. We don't necessarily need to keep them alive as they do wear out their welcome rather quickly. Oh, I actually have more Rookies than I considered here. Okay. Can I? Ooh, I can't even get 5 on this with the Shiv. I couldn't get 5 on this with just Rookies without going full SMGs. Well, that then speaks for itself, and we're gonna let that pass. I'm not gonna try and force that. Basic research being finished does mean we're going into hybrid materials, which just also got inspired, so that's fantastic to see. And a 7-day timer for an engineer. Now, unlike the Liberation, we can definitely get 6 people on this mission. Even though they're going to be Rookies, they're going to have SMGs. We're going to go grenade heavy, as we are going to be fighting against Pathfinders. The Shivs will help carry. And another engineer is a very, very good pickup. This does look like it'll be a 5-man. Shivs having higher infiltration time than your typical soldiers. We'll go with a bunch of frag grenades, 1 medkit, a cannon, 2 shivs. Extract a VIP, so we're extracting an engineer in a city center. The shivs are going to be the bait. They're going to take the hits, and we're going to hopefully get a few kills and get out. Good luck. Very busy geoscape today. Let's go finish scanning our intel package if we can. Another mission. 5 days, 5 hours for resistance personnel. Now, if that timer was a bit better, I would probably... actually, I don't know if I would take that over the engineer. Getting us to 3 engineers allows us to build mag weapons when we get mag weapons online. So it's very important to do that. Now, is this flight pass? Where's flight pass? They had to have landed. Did 2 strength leave this region for the flight path to land, I wonder? Not the mission I'm trying to look at. I'm trying to look at this one. This was the extract for an engineer as well. It's a shame we're giving up 2 engineers, but it's nice to know that 2 have spawned. And Liberation 1 there on that timer. Okay. I mean, I have 4 teams queued. There's not much more I could ask for in this situation. More alloys and Illyrium. We are going to come back down here. Just keep monitoring our geoscape. It's a little strange that we had flight past land and then the strength immediately move out. And it does look like we are going to be doing our supply raid first and foremost. So we're going to boost this. It's going to be 10 to 12 with a Templar Specialist Arsonist Agent Recon Combat Engineer. Not the mission I was expecting to dive into first and foremost on this episode, but no complaints.
Resistance operatives disabled an Advent convoy in this region, and they sent word for us to come in and seize whatever we can. This is the perfect opportunity for us to recover some of their gear.
Now, supply raid maps typically are pretty straightforward. You move forward, you kill enemies. There's typically a pod by the convoy, and 2 pods roaming around when you only have 10 to 12. We are going to be a little cautious with how we move up to begin with, as I don't want to overextend. I don't want to get caught out without having action economy. Do have the recon though, which will certainly help us find where the first pod is. I think you move Krovax up as well. We don't want him burning our own guys. If for some reason we do get burned, we do have water to run back into. If you do not know this, if you are burning and you run into a pool of water, it'll douse the burn. Our first pod is going to be a Pathfinder Trooper drone. Disappointing that this is not a Lancer, as that's really what we would like, but if we can get 2 Pathfinder corpses, we could do that research and unlock their armor, which gives additional mobility and armor itself. The nice thing about this pod is that we could burn everything, probably not getting the kill fully with Krovax off the get-go. And so we're going to hope that these guys do want to come closer to us. And we'll see about taking the engagement next turn. If they do somehow wander close enough to spot us, we should also be able to get the burn from Krovax here. Now, with all this water around, it does mean they may douse the flames as well, but sometimes the AI is not enough, or not smart enough to do that. We're not going to get a much better reveal. There is no Overwatch that I want, so we're immediately going to go for the burn, and then we'll try to generate some focus on our Templar. All 3 of them did burn, which is great. And it doesn't look like any of them doused it. Now, let's double check that with that Pathfinder in the back, though. Still burning. So we're not going to overextend ourselves. The only thing we actually need to kill right now is the surveillance drone. And so using liquid, we're going to contribute to that.
No problem, boss. Impressed yet?
I don't need to move my recon, even though I am a little concerned about my recon's position, because if this guy runs forward, we would get revealed. And I am going to begin work on the Pathfinder Hunter. This trooper will die from the burn. There is a chance that trooper dies to the burn. So I don't really actually have to worry about my recon being too exposed here. Now, I don't know where the next pod is. So we're just going to sit back, play it slow. There's the kill that we knew was coming. Now that trooper will die next turn as well if he does not douse the flame this turn. If he does douse his flame, that's actually a flanking position I just realized on our combat engineer he could take.
Yeah, I didn't get it. My position's been compromised.
Very nice of that Pathfinder to run forward for us so that we can generate a little bit more focus fairly safely here. Let's double check that this guy's still burning. He is, so he is guaranteed to die. Let's use our Templar to gain a little bit more focus.
Dreams that come true.
And let's start bringing our recon around to find the next pod.
That's the equipment we're after. We'll have to do our best to avoid destroying the gear while we secure the area. I'm on it.
We're going to reload Krovax here. We're going to just slowly move
Here I come.
our guys to the center of the map a little bit. Maybe just hunker Krovax so he doesn't burn anyone in case we do get some strange engagement.
Got it covered.
And 8 left. I am going to try to get my recon over in that direction to get that loot. And we do see the next pod completely unarmored. And they are going to trigger. This is good for us as we do have a few AP grenades, which we've seen the value of so far. On unarmored pods, very, very good at doing a lot of damage and killing low HP enemies. And they decided to group up quite nicely, but going to take a yellow alert shot onto Padinsky, taking away the flawless, doing a little bit of damage. Oh, I did not think they were on yellow alert. Really just laying him down. Unfortunate that our agent is going to be out of commission for several days because of that. But I think we'll start off with some volts before we even use AP rounds. Agents are one of the classes we are trying to level up, though. When they get Interrogator, they get a lot of value. They get big value.
If I got a kill,
Being able to skull mine multiple enemies on a mission.
think of a more fitting end.
We will move Padinsky up to get this kill, and then maybe back him off, hopefully not triggering another pod while doing this. Still no Lancer corpses, sadly.
Well, how about that? Running dry.
I'm going to just YOLO the recon this way for this loot, as that's going to be important to get. We should be able to pick up this loot with some of our other members next round. And we do know there is one more pod on the map, as this was only a 10 to 12.
Moving to Overwatch. Let's move already.
Let's bait with red,
It's here.
grabbing a heavy barrel and an advanced hair trigger. And let's see if our recon can't find this final pod, which is probably pushed up quite a bit. We'll use the opportunity to reload as well.
Let's do this.
and slow it down for just a second.
I'm on it. In cover. You're gonna be fine.
Padinsky really does need to heal himself, so hopefully he's not one-shottable. And it sucks that he is using a shotgun and not going to be able to provide value really on the next pod.
Okay.
We still have had no sight of where the next group is, but we do know they are pushed back up there.
Whatever you say. Got it covered. We're wasting time. Maintain position.
All right, Hidden Sage, can you help find me this last group with tracking at least? No, not yet. Okay. Stun Lancer, Pathfinder, Pathfinder, Viper. So we pull out 3 Pathfinder corpses, but only 1 Lancer corpse. Not the worst thing in the world, but that's actually a rather difficult pod for us to deal with right now. We are going to need Padinsky coming up here to get value with his shotgun. Apparently, that's actually not cover. We're going to need to hope that Krovax can get a nice burn to help control some of these enemies. And we do have flashbangs available as well. They are moving to the right.
I'm on my way.
We are going to try to force a reveal to get as much value as possible out of this.
I can handle that. Here I come.
I don't really like Hidden Sage's position here, because Krovax could, in theory, burn him. If they even get close enough for that to matter.
On your order. I'm on it. Moving to Overwatch. Overwatch.
They do look like they're on green alert, so hopefully that's good for us. And I don't believe these shotguns are really going to get much value at this range. But sometimes you get lucky. Like Padinsky there. Getting a 6. And 2. Not bad. We actually, looks like we can get quite a bit of value with a chem thrower suppression onto the Pathfinder Stun Lancer. Guaranteeing the burn on 2 of them and the control. So now it's all about this Advent Pathfinder. And we'll run Padinsky up, knife, and hopefully go for the melee kill.
That armor's tough.
Or not the melee kill, the shotgun kill. Which he does get. This will then let our Templar generate focus for next turn. And we can begin. Ooh. I don't actually want to shoot the Lancer because I don't want to do too much damage to him that we somehow kill the corpse from the flamethrower. So instead we'll begin work on the Pathfinder. We also don't want to be in front of Krovax here, because we would certainly like him to not burn our friends here. I am going to go with a flashbang, limit their mobility, make sure that we can get flanking positions on them, bolt them next turn, and finish them off for the kills. And I think we actually hold off with Hidden Sage for a turn.
Well played.
Great positions for us to get all the flanking shots we need and all the kills. So let's start with Volting the Pathfinder. This ignores armor.
Finally looking half decent.
And mailing the Stun Lancer. Since Padinsky is going to be out of commission for a little bit, I am going to give him the kill, as he did take a few points of damage. But not bad, killing one strength off this early in a campaign.
Hostiles are down and the area is secure. Status confirmed. Mission accomplished.
All Advent gene therapy clinics will be closed tomorrow for equipment upgrades. Initial reports that the suspension of services were the result of dissident activity have been dismissed as radical propaganda.
Well done, guys. Well done. You get a promotion on our combat engineer, and I did talk about combat drugs. This works by throwing the smoke grenade on your own team. Whoever is in it when you throw it initially gets the buff. They keep that buff even if they move out of the smoke grenade. That is the only promotion we do get there. We also get 45 supplies, 9 Illyrium, 10 alloys, a drone wreck, 6 trooper corpses, 1 Pathfinder Hunter corpse actually, and 2 Pathfinder corpses, as well as 1 Viper and 1 Lancer. I would have preferred 2 Lancer corpses so we could go upgrade the Templar gauntlets, but hopefully we can get lucky on some other timers, on some other missions. So if we take a look at our Geoscape real quick, there are no missions I could queue. So let's make sure we throw in some Haven Advisors, ideally the Combat Engineers since they have the highest will. We want to let the will recovery kick in. We'll also send the Recon here, as their will is fairly solid for the moment. That's going to do it for this episode, though. I appreciate you guys watching. Tune in next time while we do hopefully a couple more missions. Maybe find another supply raid or a UFO if we can get lucky. Continue with Long War of the Chosen Mod Jam Edition. Until then, take care.